Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, the cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $20 tier grants the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. All around you. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmistines. Is it the greatest podcast in the world?
Sure.
All right. I'm joined today by my space cowboy friend, Lucy. You like that one?
Nope. I don't like that one.
Well, we'll come up with a better one next time.
All right. Work on it.
They're hard to pull out. They really are. Sometimes they just happen, sometimes they don't. We have a super special episode today because this is a fan-requested episode on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 of 3.
Sounds like this fan requested 3 episodes.
This fan requested 3 episodes. They paid the big bucks to make this happen.
All right.
They are the executive producer of the following episodes.
All right. I'll take it.
Yeah. So yeah, we are covering Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, and 3. Spoilers. But in this episode, we are going to cover just the first one.
Okay.
And I know it's a loved film in the franchise of the MCU. It's among the favorites, right? I would say. Whether you like it or not, it fits in the favorites, right? It's I don't like MCU really, but so like it kind of, from my perspective.
Yeah, I think it also competes very heavily with Spider-Man.
So you think Spider-Man and Guardians are the top dogs?
I think Spider-Man is the top dog.
I do too, yeah.
And then this might be a close second. Not that close. I don't know.
Yeah, money-wise, not close, but yeah.
But it's there at the top for sure.
Zeitgeist and how people always kind of talk about them. They revere both of them. Yeah, I've never been a Marvel fan. I didn't know what the first Marvel movie was going to be that we covered. I didn't know if we were going to cover any Marvel movies. But I gotta admit, I am interested in Guardians 3 because it sounds like it's an actual movie and not just CGI porn. CGI porn is probably actually a thing. Because it's not like, like food porn is
not
literally foods having sex. It's gorgeous food in it. CGI porn is just animated porn, I guess. So I gotta back up on that. But you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
It's sensory overload, and I know that Marvel films get crazier as time goes on, where I think we saw a little bit of that here, where you don't even know what's going on. You just got all this mess of CGI and people flying around in ships and bad guys getting beat up and stuff, and none of it looks as cool as John Wick, and you're just like, what is even happening? It's like, okay, but it is what it is. It's campy, right? It's kind of a modern, very high-end, very expensive camp, and that's fine. It serves a purpose. If you ask Martin Scorsese, it's ruining cinema. If you ask, who's the other guy? Quentin Tarantino. If you ask Quentin Tarantino, he's going to tell you a similar thing. And then you got these actors that, like Chris Hemsworth, I think, who plays Thor. He's like, these guys are my heroes, but I don't really want to work with them if this is how they're going to talk trash about, something I'm really proud of. And it's just like, well, dude, no. I don't know. The MCU has changed cinema in some way that's maybe not great. So, I don't know. But we're here. I didn't know we were going to hit it so soon. I thought it was going to be a while until we hit an MCU film.
Well, I'm glad we're hitting these films. Because, especially early Marvel, I like it. I'm a fan of it, I guess. But some of the later
Starting
stuff...
with Iron Man?
Yes, definitely starting with Iron Man. And then, I mean, really, it just starts with Iron Man and slowly collapses. And I mean, some of my favorite Marvel films definitely have Iron Man in it. So it's either Iron Man, the first one, or some kind of Avengers film that I would put there in my favorites.
Yeah, those Avenger films get pretty epic and cool.
Yeah. And then I think the only Thor movie I've seen is Ragnarok because Hulk was in there.
Yeah, it's the worst one.
And that's pretty much it. Yeah. I guess the Civil War one was technically a Captain America film.
Yeah, that was weird. I saw that. That was definitely an Avengers film.
Yeah. It
But
had
yeah.
Iron Man in it. You were kind of an Avengers film,
I
but
don't know why they didn't just call it Avengers Civil War.
which makes way more sense than Captain America's Civil War.
Yeah.
Or you just wanted to play on Civil War and America here? Like, what?
Yeah, I guess that probably was there was some weird continuity of bookkeeping and whatnot because they have the Avengers films as like these caps, these exclamation marks of the phases, right? You have Avengers, Age of Ultron, and then Endgame, and they're all kind of in that arc of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably were a little hesitant to call it an Avengers film, but yeah, it definitely was from what I could tell. I'm not a big enough fan to tell you the other way around though. I'm sure someone maybe can defend it, but I know you haven't seen this, at least to your recollection, in any sensible way. I think I did mention. I think we did see a really bad rip of this. Like it was, real like you recorded it on your phone or something. I think, but you must have fallen asleep or something. I'm pretty sure you were there. That's the first time I saw it, right after it came out.
Yeah, and I don't remember it. I must have fallen asleep or just saw that it was a bad quality and just
Zoned out.
zoned out or got on my phone or something.
Yeah, and I think I had seen it after that, maybe just one more time. I can't, no way more than 2 times, but I definitely saw it in all of its glory after that. And it does, I will say, as an MCU hater, it definitely stands out against the other MCU films, at least up to Endgame. I don't think I've seen anything after Endgame. I don't know if I've seen everything in between. I don't think I've seen everything adding up to Endgame either. I'm not sure. Because I don't know where Ragnarok fits into that, and I only saw that recently, and it's just like, I mean, it's like there's a lot of them, Ant-Man, they're like the epitome of just uninspired action films, But what do you think of 2014's Guardians of the Galaxy?
I'm surprised by how much I liked it, actually. And Guardians of the Galaxy were always the worst for me. I'd never seen the movies, but they make appearances in the other Marvel films. And now knowing, watching this film and knowing a little bit of the history behind it, I completely understand why they sucked in the other Avenger movies, or I don't know if they were in a Thor movie or whatever. I think they were. Not completely sure. But this movie is so, or I guess, the Guardians of the Galaxy crew, their characters they're misfits and they're lovable. So I kind of like that. Even the Avengers themselves, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, that whole bunch doesn't even seem as cohesive as this group of people that just basically met seemed, it's crazy. And I think when you have a director putting, like James Gunn putting how much work he's put into Guardians, and then you have some other directors, they now have to do something with these people, this cast, because they have to be included in the MCU universe. Or is that redundant? MCU universe?
That's redundant.
Like ATM machine,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
MCU.
Exactly.
MC universe, whatever. They have to be a part of it. So, here you go, put them in where you can. It's like, well, fuck, well, all right, let me put them in here. And they just make them look so much more stupid than they actually are, which wasn't really fair for me to judge, I guess, because I've always thought Drax was one of the worst.
And the Drax is my favorite MCU character.
And that's hilarious. And not to say I completely understand it now, because he is not my favorite Guardian here, but I understand that they didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
They're like, here, just say this half-ass funny thing, and you over there do something stupid. And it's like, okay, well, all right. But then you have him here, and you're like, wow, okay, I understand. I understand now why people really like this movie. It was very eye-opening for me.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. It's always a good thing to come around to. It's good to appreciate things and spread the love.
It just sucks how dirty they do them in the other films.
Yeah, I do not remember. I in my mind's eye, they really did the minimum they need to do with them. They did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. I mean, and I might be completely wrong here, but I think Star-Lord is a big reason for why Thanos gets away with doing whatever he does in the, is it the first one or the second one? I'm not sure. But, you know, getting rid of half the planet here, I think he, like, kind of fucks up somehow. I should have maybe watched a recap or something, but they just make them all so stupid. Like, so stupid. They really do them dirty, I think.
Yeah, I think a guy named Joss Yeats or something, he did Josh Eaton or something like that. He's kind of a notoriously bad director. And I think he's done a lot of the Avengers films. I'm not sure if he did Endgame or whatnot, but yeah, I'm really not sure I'm not sure about the timeline, man. I'm not sure about how these characters interact with each other. It's too much for me. But I do know that this movie has always kind of stuck out to me in the MC, system. They call it ecological system of how these movies kind of do in the world. And this movie just always bled a different kind of personality.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I mean, a lot of that is shown through the chemistry, I guess, and the aesthetic. There's kind of a very, although, 90% of this is CG, 95% of this is CG, there's some really good CG in here. And it is kind of crazy that 9 years later, we're getting CG that's not nearly as good. These ships, some of these ships, man, look awesome. I can't, especially the smaller ones, I can't tell in some cases with the CG. So I think that's very cool. And you see that here and there with Marvel and Star Wars. With the ships especially. Ships, I feel like it's kind of not fair even to talk about ships and like guns and stuff because they're metallic, they're material, they're not skin and fur, so the kind of, it's a little bit easier, I think, to look really awesome in CG, but like their clothes and stuff just look so good. And I think all that was real. I think if I had to assume they were all dressed up, they weren't all CG'd out, minus the mask that Star-Lord wears. But aesthetically, I am really, I'm not into it, but I'm like, I like it. I do like it because like the other MCU stuff feels very, I don't know. It's just too much. Maybe it's just too much superhero. It's just too down that route. And this feels a little more like space western, space cowboy, kind of what you might expect some people to actually wear in this kind of Star Warsy, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading somewhere that James Gunn tried to use as much or as many practical effects as he could. And I was just reading a little bit about the prison scenes and how a lot of the prison was built on a set and like how long it took and like how heavy it was and all this really cool stuff. So I wonder if, that's something that makes it look
absolutely
aesthetically pleasing here.
Yeah. I'm really not anti CG or anything, but
you could have fooled me.
But you need to use it as liberal as possible, or as as not as liberal as possible. You need to use it as sparingly as possible. You need to make it needs to be the background. You know, it needs to be. It can't be what's front and center. It really can't.
They were talking about how they used a little bit of the green screen or whatever to make it look taller than it actually was and to make it look wider than it actually was, and that's basically it.
That's awesome. They
try to use it as minimal.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's what green screening shouldn't be the key way of filmmaking. It's a tool to help elevate the craft. You know, it's not the craft, and I like that a lot. I'm glad to hear that because. Yeah, the prison scenes, so many scenes look so good. Everything except shit in space looks so good. Everything on land, anything on a surface looks awesome. It really does.
Yeah. I like how vibrant and colorful this movie is. And I guess that's something I like about the Iron Man movies. Even though they kind of suck, I do agree. Except the first one, of course.
Oh, the first one's great. The first one's just a great film. That's probably the best MCU film. That's hardly even part of the MCU.
Yeah, it should be excluded, really.
Yeah, but it did literally kick it off with Jon Favreau and stuff.
Yeah, but you know, Iron Man suits, all the suits that are involved, also, you know, metal and very colorful and vibrant and stuff. So maybe that's something that speaks to me. But here in Guardians, it was cool seeing all these vibrant colors, especially on people's like skin tones. You know, you have Gamora's green. It's not a Hulk green. It's vibrant. It's not a neon green. You didn't go that way.
Yeah, it
you
looks
didn't
like
go,
her skin.
Yeah, you didn't go completely alien. You know, your caricature version of an alien that's just this neon green with big eyes. You know, and then what's his name? Yondu. His
Same.
blue.
Yeah.
That was a nice blue. That was a good blue.
And it looks like his skin. It looks so good because
it looks
good.
It
is. It's probably his skin is just painted.
Yeah, I was reading that it took like 3 to 4 hours for them.
Oh my god. That's awesome. That's good to hear. Cuz you know, if you look at the Hulk or the She-Hulk girl on
Oh my gosh, she looks so bad.
They look so bad. And
Yes.
then even to take that further, Natalie Portman in the new Thor movie looks so bad and she's human, you know?
Oh my gosh.
She looks so bad. They CG'd the fuck out of her, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Especially that I don't remember, you know, from what film to the next film, but that big change for Hulk when they made him kind of, I don't know, like good looking, I guess. Do you know what I'm
when
talking
did that
about?
happen?
Because he was a little more rough looking, and then I don't know what film it was. You know, the next time Hulk appeared somewhere, that his eyebrows were all like, you know,
Done?
very well done.
Huh.
And
I don't know. I never noticed.
Very cleared skin.
That's hilarious.
His hair was immaculate. It's like, what are you doing?
I didn't realize. I've always thought Hulk just looks so fucking bad.
I'm gonna have to show you a picture.
That's funny. Yeah, you have to see that.
I remember that when they showed the trailer, and I was like, what have they done to Hulk?
That's so bad. Wow. That sucks. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
And even the planet.
I hate the Avengers.
You hate the Avengers.
I don't hate the MCU. I hate the Avengers. All right. Is there a good difference there?
No.
No. Okay.
No, that's not a big enough difference.
I like Guardians. They're fine. I like their chemistry. I don't like this movie. I will say this movie suffers from all the other superhero movies, but their chemistry it's as good as it gets, I think, in a superhero movie. It's something that Avengers do not have at all. You know, we have some good character here and there with the Avengers. I like Captain America's whole super soldier patriot kind of thing. It gets kind of fun. It's like he's so one note that it's kind of hard to really like him, but it's okay. And Robert Downey Jr. of course was really great in the first film, and then they gentlemaned him or something. They neutered him, really. They fucking took his balls away and gave him to Pepper or whatever her name is. And
Oh my gosh.
they peppered his balls.
They peppered him.
Is that her name? Pepper Potts or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
which is fine for him to have a love interest and whatnot. But of course, he's probably.
Then they give her a suit in like Iron Man 3.
Oh, do they really?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't with that
Yeah.
shit. The whole gender bender kind of thing that they just, Iron Man. I get that. Or I call him Robert Downey Jr., but I should probably call him Robert Stark or whatever. Tony Stark.
Robert Stark. That's
Who's
that
Robert?
Game of
Robert. Oh my God, it is. Is that his dad's name? Who's his dad? That's why I say that. It slips out every once in a while. Rob Stark. That's right. That's so funny.
I don't remember the dad's name or his dad's name.
I feel like it was an Italian name, but so Robert wouldn't fit super well. Spaghetti Stark. Lasagna Stark.
Lasagna Stark.
Yeah, Robert Stark. That's funny. Yeah. I was gonna say Tony Stark he's kind of flamboyant and whatnot and everything. He's he's a ladies' man, so he's got a lot of like really loud traits. But he does really fit that character. He does a great performance in that, or did at least. He definitely did. And then I'm gonna I have to say that Spider-Man boy is probably the next standout in the MCU as far as just character but it's another one of those things. Spider-Man, like if you get a young Spider-Man, he kind of builds himself because he's a kid, and kids just are inherently a little more loud in personality and don't want to be Spider-Man, just want to be kids and have fun and and then they're or at the same time they want to they're excited to be Spider-Man, and they're like, yeah, we gotta do goodness and and then of course Tony Stark takes him under his wing. It's just like, okay,
yeah,
we all right, this is fine. But and I don't think any of the Guardians probably stand out in the same way as far as personality quite like that, just because they don't really fit archetypes, which is good. I feel like that's a good thing to kind of launch off of, but their chemistry is just unlike anything else in the MCU. I mean, I think Gamora is probably the only standout in that she's doesn't drive super well with the others. She's kind of the mom, I guess, in a way. So you'd expect her to kind of be the wrangler and not causing shit like the rest of them, because the other ones kind of just are always getting into it in some way or another. I guess Star-Lord is a little bit of the wrangler too, but he's a little bit of a joke. So, what do you think about the beginning? Star-Lord gets abducted when he's like 10 years old.
Yeah, and from a comic perspective, I don't really know much about any superhero, really, but especially the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I had no idea what to expect here. I didn't know how they got together. I didn't know if Star-Lord was supposed to be human, like, didn't know I didn't know where he came from, and I didn't know if they had superpowers. Like, I knew absolutely nothing about these characters. So I guess the whole time I was a bit surprised about what happened throughout the film, which is, I guess, maybe why I like it. I don't want to say it's refreshing, but it was just surprising enough for me that I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, that's yes, because they're not superheroes.
Yeah.
I like that too. They're just space cowboys. They're outlaws. They're
outlaws. Especially.
It's cool in that way because Spider-Man and I guess Thor when he gets the Earth and Hulk and everything, they're all capable. It's just like, okay, these guys are not capable.
Yeah, and I like the intro. Okay, he's on Earth. His mom's dying. He freaking wusses out and doesn't hold her hand when she's about to die, and then he gets taken by a spaceship.
Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck?
What?
I don't know if there's ever been a what the fuck moment in the MCU other than that.
Not quite like that. I'll tell you that. I was trying to think about Star-Lord, about his character, because we do have Iron Man, who's this, he's rich and a genius and a ladies' man. And they kind of try to give Star-Lord like a ladies' man appearance here, which I didn't know how I felt about it. if they were trying to kind of go in that route of, he's got so many issues, he's just a ladies' man. But I don't know. I'm still thinking on that.
Yeah, it's a little bit different to me because he's kind of a gangster, just.
But it's Chris Pratt.
Yeah, which makes it a little silly.
Which makes it very silly.
Because, I guess Tony Stark's got the whole, billionaire thing, and he's super smart, and he's just a talented person, and he can win you over with words. And Chris Pratt can only really go after, the second class ladies. Who don't know him, they can't have, they it's best that they've never heard of him for him to win them over, right?
Oh my gosh.
And Tony Stark can win anyone over. You know what I'm saying?
That's a very good way to put it.
He reminds me, I know I saw this, but he definitely reminds me of Han Solo. A better Han Solo, in fact, because Harrison Ford sucks ass. I think Chris Pratt actually is a charming personality on screen.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I think he's good. I like him much more in this too than Jurassic World, and I think that just has to do with there's definitely more vision here in the MCU than 1 ounce of, or I should say, was more vision in 1 ounce of the MCU than the entirety of the Jurassic World series.
Even the first one?
Yeah,
Come on.
I mean, the first one's pretty much a complete story where it just needs to kind of end there, We don't need to bring them over to the civilized world. I know that's always been like a little bit of a dream, and we got a little bit of that in Jurassic Park 2, right?
With the T-Rex. Yes.
And that's a nice little tease in that. And I know that's just like, there's just this thing that, people want to see. Badass dinosaurs walking around in New York or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Or in some suburbs or something, and I just can't believe. And we see the route they go. They never go exactly down that route. They go through a black market trade story, and then the other one is this new genetics company is trying to reinvent the whole dinosaur economy and also cause problems and provide solutions for their problems that they create and stuff. And so it gets into some stuff that's just not, that their writers are just not capable of handling. And is Chris Pratt even in the Jurassic World 3? I don't know. The third one? Dominion?
Yes.
I don't even remember. There's so much fucking nonsense happening in that film. I just don't know.
Look, you can insult Marvel, but Jurassic Park, we're going to have to...
I mean, Jurassic Park 1's great. Jurassic Park 2's okay. Jurassic Park 3's trash, but... And Jurassic Park World 1 is fine.
All right.
It's fine.
I'll take it.
The only really terrible thing about Jurassic World 1 is that redhead. She's shit.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there.
I think that's Ron Howard's daughter, Bryce Howard or whatever her name is.
Yeah, maybe if there would have been a better pick for her character.
Maybe just writing. I mean, I'm sure she's a fine actress.
Yeah, I don't know her in anything else. Really.
You do, actually.
What?
I know one, Lady in the Water, the M. Night Shyamalan film where the lady's in the pool.
Does she talk? Is she the lady?
She's the lady. So not really. I don't think she really talks. But so she's like, but she's,
All right.
I'm sure. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
She comes from cinema royalty. So is she a great actress? I don't know. It's hard to say, when you come from someone like Ron Howard. I don't love Ron Howard films, but he's kind of famous.
No, man. My dad's a great soccer player. Doesn't mean I can fucking kick a ball.
I mean, okay. That's true. That doesn't mean that.
But I do like him in here. I do like Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. That just whole ladies thing, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it kind of got me thinking a little bit of why they're making his character be a ladies' man.
Yeah.
And there might be some like emotional issues tied to that, which makes it even cooler, because how much more of a misfit can you be when you sleep around with people to avoid your feelings or whatever they're trying to go for here?
Yeah.
So I do want to say my favorite character
is Rocket.
Well,
that's good.
That's my favorite
for
character.
the future of the MC or for the Guardians,
What does
because
that mean?
Rocket's he's one of the major guys.
Oh, okay.
It's him. It's Star-Lord and Rocket's story, really.
Okay.
The rest of the
next two
Yeah.
films.
because Gamora, she's the motherly side piece of his that, she's just a badass. She's smart. She's smart in the ways Rocket isn't. So she kind of balances that out. And
Yeah.
So she's just not. She doesn't really. I mean, maybe I'll eat my words here in the next movie when we watch the second one or the third one. I haven't seen the third one yet.
I mean, she plays a big part in the Avengers.
Does she? What does she do?
I mean, she's Thanos' daughter.
What is the part though?
Like, where she basically sacrifices herself.
Oh.
And I guess I know her character a little bit more because of that.
Oh, okay.
Because
So maybe
of,
she's a little more important.
Thanos' backstory and stuff.
Maybe I'm not giving you enough credit, Gamora. I'm sorry. I will say, on the other side of that, though, oh, man. I think Nebula, is that her name? The sister?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God, dude. She is rough. She is rough in this movie. And, man, I don't know what happened with her, the direction, her voice. I don't know if that's her voice or there's some voiceover kind of work manipulation happening there. The way she looks, like her bottom half looks fine, her suit and everything, she looks good, but her head, man, I guess talking about like skin and like devices, because we had Yondu had that thing on his top of his head, looked great.
Yeah.
And I know hers is practical too and everything, but man, it just does not. It looks like some fair face art.
Oh my god.
Everything about her is rough, man. I'm not a fan of Nebula at this moment, and I don't think anyone's supposed to be. We all know she. I don't know at what point. I don't know if it's an Avengers movie or what, or if it's the second one where she changes sides. But I guess she does. I don't remember.
I was curious about that.
Yeah.
Because we're still missing two chicks. Her and the other
Oh yeah, I
girl
forgot about the lady with the
antennas or whatever.
with the
she's got.
antennas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess she kind of becomes Drax's counterpart on some level. They're both kind of idiots in different ways, and it's fun. They work together really well in that way. But yeah, I like Rocket. He's not my favorite, but he would be my favorite if Drax wasn't in the fold. But
Why is Drax your favorite? Just because it's Batista?
I like Batista. I'm a big fan of Batista.
Yes, you are.
I love how he looks. I love the
tattoos and stuff.
Yeah, he's got like weird kind of African tattoos.
Yeah.
He's got weird eyes. He doesn't wear a shirt. I know has gone on the record saying that one reason he wants to stop doing the MC or stop playing Drax is because he doesn't want to be shirtless all the time because he's becoming older and he's becoming more insecure about his body and stuff.
Aww,
which is so sad because I think he looks great.
He looks better than me, and I'm in my 20s.
You're half his age.
Yeah. Don't be insecure about
that. I know.
Man.
I hate that about him because he's such an interesting body, even from a big wrestler style body.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at him versus John Cena, he'll win. But but he just has a really interesting body type, and I like it because he's always been a favorite of mine too, just in wrestling stuff. I'm definitely Batista biased. And I was always really curious why in wrestling he didn't spell his name Bautista. It was Batista. We dropped the U for some reason. I never understood what that was about because the Batista I knew was Batista.
Maybe he added the U when he became a actor.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because I think the normal way is BAU, I bet. And I mean, but the main reason I like Batista is because he's this, he's just a common man, I think, on his planet. They call him Drax the Destroyer. We don't have a lot of background
we don't have
there.
a lot of background. We don't have a lot of background on most of these characters.
Yeah. And I like his knives. He has, he tends to these little dagger type knives and runs at you and stuff. And I like that. One thing I don't like about him is because he's so hand-to-hand combat, we have to see, choreographed fighting with him. and it's terrible because it's all on ropes and shit, and everybody's getting hit real hard, and he's getting slung around stuff, and it looks so fucking bad. But that's just a product of them not, they want to blow that up in scale, and if you get punched by the bad guy, what's the bad guy's name? Xandor or whatever. No, Xandor's a place, isn't it?
Ronan.
When if you get punched by Ronan, he's gonna send you 50 miles in one direction. So, John Wick, that doesn't happen because they're human beings.
Mm-hmm.
But so we gotta sacrifice some of the realism and fun, like just crazy choreographed fighting. So that's just what it is, I guess. But we do with Batista's character Drax, we have to suffer through that basically because he's a hand-to-hand combat kind of man. But I like just what he says. I like all of his dialogue is really great. His cadence, his temperament, is that the right word?
Yeah.
Is just awesome. It's just unlike anything I've seen in a movie. It's unlike anything that's out in MCU, and he's got weird. His goals are weird. I mean, they're not really that weird, but they're like he goes about them and talks about them in a strange way. At the very end, he's like, well, Ronan was never the target. I was wrong about Ronan or whatever he said that. Thanos is the guy I want to kill. It's just like, okay, you didn't even lay a hand on Ronan, But he's like kind of dumb in that way, but he's like really literal. He doesn't know any metaphors, and why would he? He doesn't know any idioms. Why would he? Because I imagine that's a very Earth thing.
Yeah.
Or at least, Earth metaphors and idioms are very, exclusive to mostly Earth, because I don't think most people leave. I don't think there's I don't think there's a bunch of immigrants leaving the Earth to go to outer space and to propagate. And then statistically, like, what's the probability of even seeing any Earthlings out there in the Milky Way galaxy? So it's just like, why does Gamora understand one of them? I think she does kind of get one, and I don't know, but so it's funny. It's funny. It doesn't make me laugh, but it's kind of it's a funny. I don't laugh. Remember that. I only laugh at should I say and you say. But I think he's just a really cool character, and I love to see Batista, on top of the world.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, the only experience I had with him is his very few scenes in, other Marvel films.
Yeah.
And they just make him look so dumb. They make him look dumb here, but it just fits.
Yeah.
It fits with his personality. It fits with who he is. It fits because he's not on Earth. He's not dealing with Earthlings. So it fits. But in the other films, it doesn't fit. It just feels kind of too stupid or too forced, like a lot of the humor in those films.
Yeah. And it must happen kind of like the Hulk thing. I don't remember. Maybe it's always been like that, and the fatigue set in. I'm not sure, but I don't remember MCU just cracking jokes every 5 seconds, man, because it eventually became every line was some kind of zinger. It's just like, why is there so much of this? I don't know when that happened, or if that was just.
I want to say it happened.
I would have said after this film, like starting with this film and moving forward, because I thought they may have been inspired by just the fun chemistry, and they tried to like force it on everyone else, and it became that gross. Just
I did notice it in the Avengers, the first Avengers, which
so
I
that
think
was
is
before
2012,
this. Yeah,
which is before this. But it got worse and worse and worse. So I wonder if they kind of played with it a little bit and saw that, hey, it does work if we even do it more. So let's run with it. But you gotta know your characters. Yeah. Like Captain America is so serious and such a leader that he can't be making stupid jokes like this. And you can't make Captain America look stupid. You just can't. That's not who his character is.
No, his character is what happens, I think, in one of the Avengers, or one of the Infinity War or Endgame, where I think he picks up the hammer. That's his character,
Yes.
Not the shit that not that letting Tony Stark get to him is not his character.
Yeah.
That's not, no. Nor to me, it's not, at least. I mean, I guess that's what happened. That's what the whole movie about Civil War was about, right? Basically,
yeah.
So,
but, and back to Drax, maybe even after watching him in that movie with the cabin
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, Cabin in
M.
the
Night
Woods.
Shyamalan. Another M. Night Shyamalan film.
Oh my gosh.
That's a great film.
It
M. Night
is.
Shyamalan,
It is.
the most underrated big-time director,
Yes.
I will say.
Yes. I would probably put him in my top favorite directors.
I'd have to think about it. He'd probably make my top 10. He probably would.
I think he would be in my top 5. I'd have to think about it too, but I love a lot of his
Let's give a
films.
shout out. What's your favorite? Just name a great M. Night Shyamalan film. I'm going to say Signs.
I don't know.
Signs. Great film.
I mean,
Mel
The
Gibson.
Village is a classic.
All right, Village it is. They both have Joaquin Phoenix in them, too. Great.
Oh my gosh. Is it Joaquin here or is it M. Night Shyamalan? Like, ah. All right. But back to Drax. After watching Cabin in the Woods, maybe I appreciate him a little bit more as an actor.
He was
and then-
great in Cabin in the Woods. He was the star of
Yes.
stars. He was so good in
I
Cabin
didn't
in the
know
Woods.
he had the ability to be that good. And so maybe that gave him a little bit of credit in my head, and then watching this, I'm like,
That's
okay,
good.
you're not how they made you seem, and I'm
Good.
so sorry I judged you.
Good.
You're still a stupid character, but because you're supposed to be one.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite scene with him is when he I guess he called Ronan up.
He fucking called him. It's like, hey, I'm over here.
Yes.
That was a great scene.
That was awesome. And that's something his character would do. And it's great. So
And then he tries to fight him.
and he tries to fight him. And I think I like Rocket because I like how just angry he is.
Yeah, he's upset. He's uncomfortable in the world.
Yes.
It's good stuff. He's a good character. That's Tim Gunn. Tim Gunn. Who's Tim Gunn? Is that the
James Gunn is the director.
Tim Gunn?
Tim Gunn. I don't know who Tim Gunn is.
I think that's James Gunn's favorite character in the MCU completely.
Really?
Out of all of it, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about his backstory, but I like what they did with him. I like where they're taking him. I like that he's so angry, but he can still, try to have fun, and how he made Star-Lord get that leg from the amputee guy. He's like, what do we need the leg for? He's like, nothing, I just made you get that leg.
Yeah, that's
It's
funny.
like, what? It's so stupid, but it's funny. And I absolutely love his dynamic with Groot. It's awesome. It's he's so angry, he's so hurt, he's figuring out the world, but he's got his best friend,
He does have his best friend.
and that's just
That's so sad.
too fucking sweet and sad.
Yeah.
And
Did you cry at the end?
no, because I
Because you
guess
knew.
I knew.
Yeah.
So it, I guess if you cry less. I don't know, but right now I'm kind of tearing up. So I don't know.
No, it's really sweet because he's just a troubled child, and he's never had a large group of friends. It sounds like he's really just had Groot. We don't really know his backstory, but we know Groot is super important to him, and I mean Groot's everything to him. That's it does make that end really sad, and yeah, I look forward to. I know he I guess saying him and Star-Lord are the main guys moving forward,
Okay.
so I look forward to seeing a little more of that.
Yeah, me too. I don't know where I was reading this or if it was a video on an interview with the director, but apparently he went out and studied raccoons and kind of like their behaviors and stuff, so he could make Rocket, a better character and fitting. And who does that? How many directors are actually doing that kind of stuff? Is that normal, or is it just the great ones that do that?
Yeah, it just depends. The great ones take it to a crazy extreme, no doubt. Like the guy who did Witch and The Lighthouse, Roger Eggers. Robert Eggers. I'm thinking Robert for everyone these days.
Yeah,
I don't
everyone's
know.
Bob.
I think his name is Roger Eggers. He basically got his PhD in mid 1600s northeastern American history to make that movie, The Witch.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it shows. I know that movie's borderline a fucking documentary of these Puritans living off the grid. So it's moody and it's very specific. You gotta be in the mood for that movie. But man, oh man, if you can just get in the flow with that thing, that is one of the best movies ever made. Which, yeah, I think you fell asleep to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it. You can't watch a movie at nighttime. You should, but because it's a little bit of a spooky movie. But
oh heck no!
But
that's the worst time to watch.
You can't watch
movies.
it when you're sleepy because you need to be on all cylinders. That film, that movie's so good. Speaking of which, one of those the mom in that is Catelyn Stark's sister, Game of Thrones. Speaking of, we got a whole Game of Thrones thing moving on in here. So it's one of those things. Do most directors go to those links? And how did he just spend a day doing it? You know, what kind of time, what kind of effort did he put into it? We'll never know and stuff. But you just kind of gotta trust what they say, I guess. Most people are definitely not gonna do those kinds of things because they're just not.
Well, okay, Roger, whatever you said.
Roger
Eggers. He's doing that to make his film
as authentic as possible. And it's about his whole entire film. This is just one character. Yeah, his favorite character though.
Oh, that's also true. It's his favorite character, so that would make sense. But it's cool. You know what a raccoon is.
Yeah.
Why do you have to go study them?
Yeah, and I can't take anything away from James Gunn. He has infiltrated the MCU Disney. He has brought a craft that they are going to regret the fuck out of losing to, these mega blockbusters, right? Mm-hmm. Because we all know that the DCCU, I guess we're going to call it, the DC Cinematic Universe, DCCU. Gotta get the 2 C's in there.
That's too much.
But he's becoming the creative lead of that whole fucking train wreck, and if he can turn that ship around, man, that's gonna be cool from just an industry analyst kind of point of view, because that's gonna force Disney to kind of step up, because I feel like they've been losing a little bit of control with these later Marvel films. But yeah, I think James Gunn, I don't know how old he is, but I think he's got a lot coming up with him and his filmmaking. I think I don't want to call him a up-and-coming director. He's not an up-and-coming director by any stretch of the imagination. I think pre-Guardians, I think he did horror films. You have to correct me on that. Like cheapish horror films, kind of insidious James Wan-style horror films. You looking?
Yeah, I was looking at his age. He's 56.
Okay. Bunch of stuff you've never heard of?
Yeah. Tromeo and Juliet.
No.
The Specials, Scooby-Doo, Dawn of the Dead, Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. That's cool. Well, he wasn't the director on those. He was the writer, actually.
That's cool. That's still cool.
I don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'd like to say Disney took a risk with him doing Guardians, but they did, I guess, but they take a risk with every director they've chosen, because they choose so many fucking interns to work on their products. They definitely got a little bit of lightning in a bottle with James Gunn, and you can't take that craft away from him for sure, because we see a little bit of that in Suicide Squad too, the newer Suicide Squad movie, which is pretty good, probably as good as this, right? I would say.
Yeah.
That was a little more self-contained, so it was a little, because we get a little bit of we get a little bit of unanswered questions that I feel like are obviously gonna come up. Did you pick those up
in Guardians?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. Like what?
I don't know. Like his dad.
Oh, his dad.
Apparently they were supposed to go rescue him. What's his name?
Yondu.
Yondu was supposed to go rescue him, and then you're like, who the fuck is this dad? And then I don't know. I don't remember exactly what that lady said about what his dad is, what kind of creature or being, I don't know, his dad's supposed to be. So, that's a big one right there.
Yeah. Yeah. How observant of you.
But, I guess with Suicide Squad, you always have a point in my book when you have a giant monster. It's it's just how it is.
Yeah, and it's even better when you have a giant monster and you make it fun outside of the giant monster.
No. You just have to have a giant
Oh,
monster.
for you, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they handle the giant monster and they defeat it, I guess, in a stupid, pretty fun way, and that I like that. I like that. I also like that movie hits a little. I should say resonates with me a little bit more because it's a little more adult. It's not camping the same way. It's a little more stupid in the right ways because the killing and just they hate each other and they don't want to work with each other. It's kind of got very similar energy to this, but except they don't. I guess they didn't like each other at the beginning here either, but do they like each other in that? I don't even remember. It's been like a year since we saw that. But what do you think about the bad guy? They're kind of bad guys are hard. I guess I should say one and done bad guys in superhero movies are incredibly tough to do. I think the best one we've ever had is probably. I mean, I want to say that Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2 from Tobey Maguire's, but I can't remember who the bad guy in Iron Man 1 was.
I mean, his kidnappers.
Was it just the country?
Yeah, I guess. And himself. Yeah, bad guys are tricky. You know, we need a bad guy that has a reason why he's bad. You know, that kind of helps you kind of feel something for them, I guess. I'm also not opposed to just a bad guy and we want to kill him. You know, a bad guy that's so bad we just want to kill him.
Yeah, I'm not
but
on
this
board
bad
with that.
guy was nothing. I mean, I didn't have that anger to kill him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he either needs to be so evil and so bad, and I don't care his reasoning for being evil and bad, that I just want him fucking dead.
Yeah.
Or, like Thanos, he needs to have an agenda.
Yeah.
And he needs to have something, and it needs to be well thought out. And like a lot of bad guys, really, there's always a little bit something more to them. But this bad guy, you know, Ronan, whatever, didn't really have either side of that. You know, we know he killed Drax's wife and daughter, but we didn't see it happen. You know, Drax didn't break down and just cry his eyes out or yelled out in anger or whatever. We didn't see his reaction enough to get mad. And he's about to destroy, you know, is it Xander? Was that the planet? You know, he's about to destroy this planet, but we're not focusing on the planet. We're not focusing on his mind and his reasons for destroying the planet. I mean, so there's nothing there to get angry at either.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I like about him is that he is a pawn for Thanos for what's to come. So, like, kind of in retrospect, it's kind of fun that we're taking out, in the video game way, we're taking out the lieutenants and the captains to get to the big guy. It's kind of fun in that way, and I guess I like that he gets one of the Infinity Stones, and he's like, you know, now I can be the most powerful evil thing in the universe. And then he tries it, and that's when his arc becomes especially stupid because he goes in and attacks Xandor. Why does he? I'm not sure. I don't fucking care. They didn't make me care. I don't really, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, it's just unfortunate. And I hate it for the directors and Kevin Feige and comic book writers. I guess less so comic book writers because they probably have more time to let the shit breathe. But I don't really know. I don't read comics. But yeah, introducing the bad guy, finishing the bad guy all in 2 hours. It just seems impossible on this scale. You know, you'd think idealistically every superhero movie would be part one. I mean, would be part one, part two, if not part three. You know, and so, but we would still be in the first phase of the MCU if that was the case. And so it sucks, but it does hurt the movie. I do think bad guys and on this in the superhero world in an ironic way, because we need to get through them to get to the big baddie, right? In an ironic way, getting through all these little baddies severely fucking cripples the MCU.
Yeah, the little baddie still has a story.
Yeah, they do.
Why is he a little baddie? you know?
Yeah. That's why I appreciate Spider-Man's little baddies. Almost all of them are little baddies because they seem to have a lot more character and stuff. And I don't remember the fucking Donnie Darko, Mysterio, bad guy. What's his name? Jake Gyllenhaal. When he was Mysterio in the second one or whatever. I don't remember his backstory off the top of my head, but I do remember liking that better, whatever that was. And then of course the Green Goblin is a legendary bad guy, and Doc Ock, legendary bad guy. And Spider-Man's basically the Batman of the of the Marvel franchise. We have these really interesting bad guys. Except I think Batman probably still wins on that route just because of the Joker.
Oh, that's true. I was trying to remember Batman bad guys. I was like, oh, who?
The Joker.
The Joker.
He's just like
he's the ultimate bad guy.
He is. He really is. Which is fun because you have the harder part written out. The bad guy, I think, is much harder to write out properly in a movie, at least.
And then you have a movie like The Joker come out, and oh god,
I know,
awesome.
Yeah. Although you could argue that movie's hardly a Joker movie, but it is, which I think is an important part. I don't want to take that away from. I think it's an extremely important part and a very interesting case study of what the industry has led to, where we have this superhero. I know you haven't seen the movie. I think we've talked about it. You have this superhero take on the movie Taxi Driver, early Scorsese film, which is hilarious because back up a little bit. I guess the Joker is not a superhero or a super villain. He's just a villain, really. He doesn't really have powers or anything, right? Although Batman's a superhero, right? I don't know what the fuck a superhero is. All right, it's just kind of ironic that they had that take on Taxi Driver because of all of Martin Scorsese's. I don't want to. They're a little mean spirited. His takes on MCU seem to be. I mean, I've probably heard a lot of them out of context, but they seem to be a little mean. And we don't need. You can say things respectfully and get your point across as mean as you want it to be without being hateful. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it seems like he's said some. I can't really pull anything out. I don't know. I don't really give a shit either. But it's just kind of funny that because he's a great mind in cinema. He's arguably one of the greatest directors to ever live. He's not a favorite of mine or anything. He didn't sponsor this podcast, not yet at least.
He could.
Martin Scorsese, come on, man. I know you don't.
Exactly.
I don't know if you sponsor anything, but you can sponsor this podcast.
You can start. Everyone's got to start somewhere.
I don't think he needs to start. He's made like 40 amazing films. He's got the track record that people would give lives up for, man.
He needs to do some charity work.
There you go. Yes, charity. We can be that for sure.
For sure.
You don't gotta pay us. You just co-sign us, man. We, sponsor
or just
us.
Talk about us.
Yeah.
Get people listening.
You don't gotta. I love that. I love the Joker film for a variety of reasons, and I think it's a really interesting case study of what the industry has kind of converged on, and I love that the next one's going to be a musical. I think that's even more interesting.
Huh.
The sequel is a musical with, we all know Joaquin Phoenix can sing with his Johnny Cash performance, Walk the Line, and his Harley Quinn's going to be Lady Gaga, and I hear she can sing. So that would be cool. I think it's going to be very cool. That's the kind of shit I wish hero movies, superhero, comic book movies would kind of take. They take these really wild spins on the medium and stuff. It's so, that guy, I think his name's Todd Phillips. He's doing some interesting work. Hopefully that inspires future directors with hero comic book films. Because I think the first Joker made $1 billion, if I'm not wrong. I think it made a lot of money.
Holy crap.
Not a lot of movies cross that $1 billion mark.
Yeah.
As we will continue to learn. Only one this year. We're halfway done with the year. There might be in a really great year 3 or 2 movies cross that $1 billion mark.
Holy crap.
Yeah. We'll have to cover the Joker when Joker 2 is on the horizon. Joker 1's great.
I think I saw that movie when it came out to theaters, and I'm in no way a DC fan. I really only know Batman, and I've probably seen maybe one movie from beginning to end.
One Batman movie?
Yeah. But all that aside, the Joker just seemed like nothing else that I had to go see it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it definitely is on its own level. It really is.
So I definitely love to see it again.
That's why I'm very interested. It's kind of along the lines, I should say, that why I'm very interested in Guardians 3. Because it sounds like it's kind of on a different level of storytelling. I don't want to tell you what I know. I don't know much, but I know. I know one sentence that it drives me into wanting to see it. No one dies. I don't know about people dying or anything, but from just a story, character-driven point of view, it just sounds super interesting.
All right, can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it very easily, I will say, sounds like the most interesting MCU movie ever made. End of story.
Those are bold words.
I don't think they're that bold.
I think they're bold.
So this movie's all right.
Yeah.
I definitely, if someone had a real stick up their ass about the MCU, I would definitely be like, go check out Guardians. You'll find something there. One character that's hardly a character, but one little appearance I like a lot is the collector guy.
Yeah.
Who collects all this stuff. I love his look. He's played by Benicio del Toro, whatever his name is. I love his whole get up and place where he's at and stuff, and
the
all of his
place was fucking awesome.
It's cool.
Yes.
I love it, and I wish we could get a little bit more of that. I think we do in one of the MCU movies. I'm not too sure. I want to say that's where Thanos gets his glove, is at the collector's, but I'm not sure. No one quote me on that, because I don't give a fuck. But I like that. I like that it's stupid, but I like that these people, these different races of people, civilize the skull of this cosmic being. That's cool. And like really mysterious and lore building. We don't get a lot of that, I don't think, out of MCU. It's very, you know what I mean? Like we don't get history, and we don't get the Lord of the Rings kind of thing, and it's very, I guess, small-minded in what's happening in the now. And
yeah, it's
kind of like Star Wars.
It's not very fleshed out.
Yeah.
What we do get.
Which is fine, but when you put so much out there, I feel like you kind of have to start fleshing the universe out.
Yeah, they probably didn't know what they had, and then they were like, oh shit, people love this. And
yeah. I would say there's not a big overlap between D&D people and Marvel people. I feel like those are separated people, because if you saw more D&D people out there, you would have a fleshed out MCU or Marvel. And the comics might be way more fleshed out. From what I can tell in the comics is they aren't really committed to a specific story, a la the multiverse, right? We have all these little stories that, are cool and whatnot, but they beginning and end, and then we restart over and over and over and over and over again, right? So that's my 2 cents and perspective on the comic universe, but I don't really know. I'm not a comic reader. Sorry.
Yeah, but I guess, if it's for entertainment's sake,
that's fine.
It's fine.
That's fine. It just seems...
People want to be entertained more than they want to be cultured.
Immersed.
Learned,
That's fine. That's fine. It's just one of those things that, I think I've said it before. I've definitely said it to you, that not everything is for everyone. And it's just how it is. Dark Souls is not for everyone. They should not implement a difficulty system because you can't get good, I'm sorry that you suck at video games.
Yeah, go play something else.
Go play fucking Mario. Mario actually can get pretty tough here and there, but go play Zelda. Jesus Christ. Zelda's the kiddiest, most childish game I've ever seen. Oh my god. It reminds me, Zelda's always reminded me of Peppa Pig. It's crazy.
What? All right.
I'm gonna put a pin in that.
Yeah, but back to the movie. I really liked the end. That was a very nice, feel good moment for me.
That's good. I feel similar. There was something, and I want to say there's something really fulfilling and kind of full circle, and like the moment we've been waiting for with all these characters. And it wasn't because of what happened, it's because it was like the climax of their friendship.
Yeah.
Because what happened was, it was just the byproduct of the stupid ass villain, doing his thing, and they hold hands, they all fucking touch each other, I'd be like, oh, get off of me. That's what I would have been like. Don't fucking
No,
touch
you
me.
wouldn't. You would see someone reaching out, and you'd reach out, and then you become best friends.
My best friend.
You're my best friend.
And that's cute. It's cute.
It's
cute
cute.
ending.
It's so cute.
And they managed to kind of that little bit, that little side of the playing field managed to win over the bad guy dying. You know, it's like we didn't have to see that. I mean, I think we did, but it just wasn't. It just didn't feel like the focal point of what was happening, and I appreciate that a lot. And I know James Gunn's a very smart man. He probably battled with how to handle the bad guy, because that's just how things have to go and end. And I'm sure he hates that as a director. I'm sure every director who has worked on a Marvel film hates that, because that's just not proper storytelling. It's not, or at least directors who are storytellers, I should say. They want to give you a proper ending, which probably would come with part 1, part 2. That's just how it would be. So I appreciate that a lot. I like that a lot. He did. I think this might be a bold thing to say, but I think this, in a sense, without the character-driven things that I want, I think this is the best a superhero movie can be, as far as wrapping up the bad guy and kind of a neat bow on top and everything. And I think this is basically as good as it gets.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, but it's up there.
Well, man, why don't you go ahead and tell me how much you think this movie cost to make in 2014?
All right, my budget guess was $150 million.
That's not bad.
There was a lot of CG, so I kind of upped it, and a lot of different types of characters. We didn't just have humans here. We have a lot of costumes with a lot of different characters, whatever. Different places.
Had some actual sets.
Shit, now I'm thinking it might be too low, but I'm going to stick with 150.
150, you sure? You can go up or down? We want to move it?
No, I'll stick to 150.
We did have a lot of practical effects, and I think...
Because 200 just seems too high.
You think 200 seems high?
And recently we've had a lot of lower, I think, especially with our previous 2 movies being, in the 60s and 50s.
Yeah. I will say Disney spends the money. They're unlike anyone else. No one spends money on movies like Disney does. So whatever you think this might have cost from any other studio or distributor, you might want to up it in some way.
All right, because I was just looking through my notes, and Detective Pikachu was $150.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So now I'm like, you know what? This might need to be a little higher. But how high? You know what? I'm going to go with 200.
All right, 200. You're locking it in?
Yes.
All right. You ready?
No.
232.
Whoa.
Yeah, 232. Good job. It's kind of a funny thing when you think about it. There's kind of a cap for how expensive a movie can possibly be as far as like production goes, not talent. Because if you have a 2-hour movie and it's entirely in CG, there's really, there's a ceiling to that, right? If you spend the X amount of money on each minute and it's 2 hours, that's just how it's going to be, because the CG is going to basically be the same in every movie, right? It's going to have the same kind of treatment. And
I have no idea, man. No clue.
I think especially in things like this and less, I guess, traditionally animated films, because you have things like Frozen where they went way out of control with the castle. That was completely unnecessary in a lot of ways.
No.
And that's probably one reason you're starting to see these studios introduce making these things in video game engines, and so they can manipulate things in a more streamlined way instead of having to traditionally animate. And that's cool and all. But yeah, 232 million. I would guess that's probably the price of most of the Marvel films, but I don't know.
In the 200s?
Yeah, especially post Thor, maybe. But yeah, the movie went on to make $773 million, so it made decent money. Decent money. Definitely not as big as they probably hoped, but it was also the first of a thing that no one ever fucking heard about. no one knows about the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I mean, I didn't see Iron Man 1 in the theaters, but I did see Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, The Avengers, Civil War. Actually, all the Avengers. The second Avengers, the Age of Ultron.
that one's so bad
Endgame.
too.
Yeah, I think I did see all the Avengers in theater, and I don't remember if I saw Ragnarok in theater.
What about your favorite one, Black Widow?
Oh my gosh, I haven't even seen Black Widow, and I don't think I will see Black Widow.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
If I'm at the doctor's office and it's playing on TV, I might glance up, or not. I'll just get on my phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw quite a few in theaters, and Guardians was not one that spoke to me enough to go see it in theaters, or ever really. I don't know if I would have watched this without our fan requesting it.
Without our listener?
Without our one listener.
No, we have more than one listener.
Shout out to Canada and
South Korea.
South Korea. I was also, I guess on a closing note here, I was reading about, I mentioned before the costumes and the body paint and all that, taking them anywhere from 3 to 4 hours to put on. And I know Drax, he couldn't even sit down while they were putting this on for him. So they kind of invented some poles, and they had like 2 tennis balls on top of those poles, and that's what he was like allowed to kind of hang on to with his hands and just kind of grab it there if he was feeling, some sort of way. I think his took about 3.5 hours, and then he was just talking about how like intricate all his tattoos were, and how if you like really pay attention, it like tells a story and all this, like, God, the details of what went into him. And then with what's her name, the one you don't like, Nebula, I think hers took almost 5 hours.
It didn't even,
which is funny because you said it was a tattoo at the state fair, whatever you said.
This shit looked terrible. It looked like some airbrush nonsense, man. It's so bad, so bad. I'm sorry, whoever worked on that, man. And then her performance was not good too. And then there were a couple times where she was walking. She had like
maybe she had just gotten all her makeup on after 5 hours, and she was like a bit sore,
Maybe. Oh man, it was just so bad, so bad.
And then I guess Chris Pratt lost a bunch of weight to fit into his role.
Yeah, I think this is where we got sexy Chris Pratt. Yeah, I think he was a little chunky in his show Parks and Rec.
Yeah, from what I was reading, he was about 300 pounds.
Wow.
In Parks and Rec.
Okay, he must be tall too.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's 6'2".
So a little tall, a little bit tall.
It's a little tall. Yeah, but he weighed 300 pounds in Parks and Rec, and then he lost a bit of weight for this role. I don't know what role it was for. And then he had to bring it back up for another role. And then I guess from what I was reading, his brother dared him to lose some weight, so he lost like almost 70 pounds. But then he put a little bit of it back on, and then when he was auditioning for Star-Lord, they told him he was too fat and he had to lose the weight. So he was like, well, I guess I got to do what I got to do, and just like lost 60 pounds in like 5 months, which is a lot of weight. Damn. And he talked about how nice they were, and they got him like a famous fitness coach and dietitian and whatnot to help him lose all that weight.
Should just hire Batista.
Yeah.
I bet he knows a thing or two. Can hang out with him.
Which that was it, wasn't it? That was when we got sexy Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I would think so. Unless Jurassic World came out first. I'm not sure which one came out first.
I don't think so. I think it might have been this.
I figured this Jurassic World would have kind of been a product of this, because this is where his mega stardom kind of started, I think.
2015.
Okay, so wow.
They probably saw him and were like, oh, we want that guy in this.
Yeah, he's
film.
gonna be the next big thing.
Yeah.
Which he arguably really didn't become the next big thing. They kind of tapered off. I think then that has something to say about with kind of what Martin Scorsese was talking about, how stars don't exist in the same way they do, because you're not going to see your people like Chris Evans, your Chris Hemsworth, Robert Downey Jr. These guys aren't casted in every major film now like they used to be in the 50s and 60s and stuff. And because stardom is just a little bit different now, and I think he's might be a good example of people thought, or production companies thought he might be a big deal, and then he's only a big deal when he's Star-Lord and Jurassic World guy.
Yeah, and
So,
I guess...
And everything else was just a bust, basically, that he was in.
But I guess it did get his name out there, because before that, who knew who Chris Pratt was?
Yeah, he was just a Parks and Rec guy, which,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's very happy to have been part of, because it's only one of the most important television shows to ever be. That, it's kind of in the same cut with The Office, and yeah, it's probably those two, Parks and Rec and The Office, are kind of those two shows of that time, of that kind of cut. I don't know, Community, I don't think it's quite the same, or as good probably, but I don't know. I don't watch shit. I don't have a good time, but that's good. And yeah, I mean, it definitely helped him have a career, which is very cool. He's gonna have work for the rest of his life and everything because of Star-Lord, for sure.
Yeah.
Because he'll always be that name. He'll always be a name now. So that's cool.
And I know we've said this in previous episodes, but it's so fucking awesome how they go through that kind of process. I mean, Batista, like, dude, you can't sit down for the next 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
You can't touch anything. It's like when you paint your nails and you literally cannot do anything. And if you're on your phone, you're also risking it.
Yeah. That's funny.
So he couldn't even do that. He couldn't be on his phone.
That's funny.
So I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they can do that. And Chris Pratt, like, putting your body through that crap.
It's awesome. You have to admire the craft. Acting is not. It's definitely underappreciated on a skill and craft level. Acting is, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. And Joaquin Phoenix, he's a good example of someone who will fucking destroy their body. He is probably not going to live a super long life because he takes it to the extreme, man. Or so it seems. I guess I don't really know. I guess it could be prosthetics, but it seems like he does take it to the extreme.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. 'Cause I mean, I think that helps build a case for Joaquin Phoenix being, if not the greatest actor to live, one of, for sure. No, that's non-negotiable, really.
Yeah, something tells me he does it himself.
Yeah, I would be willing to bet everything on it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's too true. And then, of course, we got Chris Pratt coming out with, or being part of now Mario. Is he going to be the voice of Mario? After the inevitable death of, what's his name? Charles Martinet? We looked it up. I can't remember. I don't know how old he is, but, he's old. Is Chris Pratt is he gonna be handed this legacy? I don't know. That'd be fucking crazy shit too.
That'd be crazy, but I wouldn't be mad at that.
I think I think I said in the last episode or an episode or two ago that we need to apologize.
Yeah.
We should all collectively apologize, even if you didn't say anything. He got way too much hate.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did.
The hate should be all on Seth Rogen.
No hate.
No hate at all. No hate at all. But he did. He actually did okay too. He did okay too. An older Seth Rogen has been much better than a younger Seth Rogen. Holy shit. After Neighbors, maybe, something happened in Seth Rogen's mind where he just was like, all right, I'm done being a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I like that a lot. I like that. So, yeah, I look forward to the next Guardians. Thank you for watching this film with me.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy the next Guardians.
Oh, no. What does that mean?
It's just the next one.
All right.
I hope you enjoy it. I hope, I always hope you enjoy the film that we're watching.
It's true. You don't want me to waste all my time.
Yeah, just some of your time.
Just some of it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing this with me.
You're welcome.
Until next time.
Bye-bye, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmsteins. But thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmsteins, and follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching and keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmsteins signing off.